I forgot how this works. We're not supposed to talk.
Well, I'm used to talking.
Yeah, so for everyone here, we're going to be streaming this live on YouTube. We encourage everyone to turn on your video if you feel comfortable with that. We love seeing faces. Part of the reason we do our show on Zoom, so our comedians can see faces and possibly hear you laugh. You know, it's nice. So definitely show your face if you feel comfortable. If not, we get it. But, you know, turn your mics on when you're going to clap for them, for sure. You know, we got to give some love to these comedians. Zoom comedy is really hard. Timing is everything for comedians, and internet sucks. I have Time Warner. I saw that last week. Okay. All right, so let's jump in, you guys. Thanks for coming tonight. We are the Tiny Cupboard. Brooklyn. One day we'll be live there again, but for now we are live on Zoom. Pretty much every night. We have so much stuff going on. Check out our social media. There is something for you there, whether it is music, comedy, tarot readings, so much stuff. We'll put our link in the chat so you can check it out. See, you can have some more dates, you know, some more Zoom dates. Yeah, we also, you guys, all of our comedians and us here, donations are very much welcome. I know times are really tough right now. Personally, I also really encourage people to donate to causes as well, because we have a lot of really great things going on, and we should put the money where it counts. I highly encourage that. Not getting off topic, but I just want to jump right in so we can kind of stay on our time. So let's give it up for our first comedian of the night, everyone. Farooq Hussain. Woo!
Hey!
Yay!
Woo!
Hey, what's up, everybody? How we doing? Good? We made it this far. Look at us. We're in June now. It's been a crazy year, huh? Crazy half a year. It's been so crazy. I didn't pay my taxes. I just didn't. I was like, this is the one year you have to prove to me I should pay taxes, and you fucked up. You fucked up badly. Why should I pay you? The world's on fire. This makes no sense. I pay you for things to run smoothly. Everything's been running scared, not smoothly. So I'm gonna not pay my taxes this year. Not like I forgot. Like they sent me an email like, hey, did you forget? I'm like, no, I still have the money. I'm just waiting for you to fix everything. Yeah, crazy year so far. SpongeBob came out as gay for Pride Month. Give it up for SpongeBob for being brave enough to do that. But SpongeBob also came out as Muslim last month during Ramadan. I think SpongeBob is just trying to get booked. I think SpongeBob is just trying to get booked. I don't really think when SpongeBob came out during Ramadan as like a Muslim, he didn't really come out as a Muslim. He just wished everyone a happy Ramadan and an Eid Mubarak. And then conservatives were like, well, there goes our children's mind shaping. I'm like, I don't know, before, what if there were Muslim cartoon characters? What if Dora the Explorer was in Dora the Explorer because she's a Muslim girl who can't leave the house? That would be a fun. Every day she explores a different part of her living room. That'd be a really fun thing to watch as a kid. They're crazy year with the Black Lives Matter stuff, right? It's really sad. But a lot of good changes coming from it. I really do, defunding the police and everything. One of the good changes, which is, they're going to upgrade the KKK to a terrorist organization status, which they should, right? And so they're also going to upgrade Antifa to terrorist status. And I just got to say, as a terrorist, I am offended. I am very offended at this notion that you can just white privilege your way into terrorist status. Very offended. I just cannot believe they would do that. I will say, though, one thing KKK and ISIS would agree on is that Jews won't replace us. So, at least there's some common ground for them to start over there. What else has been going? I am quarantining with my parents. Anybody else living with your parents or like family during this time? Anybody else? Right, and you get to know each other a lot more. Boundaries sort of get pushed or erased completely in certain cases. So in my family's case, we just all shit with the door open now, all of us. Like there's no shame anymore. But I got to know my parents a little bit more. Like I found out a little bit more about my dad. My dad hates music, not like a specific kind of music, like the sound of celebration. My father hates it. Do you know how hard it is to bond with a guy who hates music? Everything fun has music. Even sports has music. There's chance. Like, what am I supposed to talk to him about? You know, like my dad hates the movie The Sound of Music and also The Sound of Music. Like that's the twofer right there. But yeah, now he's like, so we're all together, and he's trying to he's trying to bond more with us, right? And so his way of doing that is like he'll see what we're watching on TV and try to make up a creative lie, try to slip his way into a conversation. So I was watching a Game of Thrones thing the other day, and George R.R. Martin was on the screen, and I guess he was just lonely, wanted to talk, and he just goes, "That's Cat Stevens." I was like, "That's not Cat Stevens. That's definitely not Cat Stevens." And he was like, "Yeah, I saw him on the mosque on Friday." I'm like, "Why would George R.R. Martin go to a mosque on a Friday? There's no reason for him to." He's like, no, I love. This is still Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones, I love Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones starts with a heavy music score. You hate Game of Thrones. I guarantee it. You hate music. There's a lot of music in that show. What else is yeah, my mom found out about 90 Day Fiance. Anybody else watch that show? Yeah, my mom has an arranged marriage, so she was very pissed that there was a trial version available. She had no idea. She was a 90-day trial period. I was like, yeah, and you get to be on TV. Like, what? You could be on TV? Poor woman. What else has been going on? Anybody cheating during quarantine still? That's risky, right? Like quarantine must be so risky on cheaters because now you're stuck with the person that you want to be least stuck in a room with. That's so hard. I feel for you. I feel so bad for you because now you gotta like come up with creative excuses to like not have sex with the person you're quarantined with that you're cheating on because you're bored of them. Like now you gotta be like, hey, instead of sex, why don't we try making our own sourdough bread? Have you ever thought about that? What I'm trying to say is if you propose sex and your partner says, let's make bread instead, they're cheating on you. They never wanted to be with you. Two things made a heavy comeback this year, though. Bread and Pete Davidson. Both were canceled last year, if you guys remember. Both were very canceled. And both made a heavy comeback this year. Banana Bread especially. Maybelline, I just gotta say, I've been reading all your comments, and just turn the camera on. Let us just hear this. Are you in trouble? What's going on? You okay? Real shy. Oh, okay, all right. Well, not on a keyboard, apparently. I'm just kidding. Keep the comments coming. You have a face for radio too. Don't worry, I'm a comedian. I don't have a face for comedy. It's fine. Do you know how many times people almost call me Russell Peters and like, no way, you're too ugly for Russell Peters. What else? I lost my train of thought. Harry Potter is now. Yeah, all your childhoods are transphobic now. By the way, so sorry about that. I just want to say J.K. Rowling came out and said that trans people aren't real people, and I just want to say to her, J.K. Neither are wizards, and we let you prattle on about it for like 7 books. So just maybe write more books, okay? Just shut up and write more books. All right, that's all I got to say. I think my time is done almost. I believe, right? Yeah. I think my 1 minute. I have 1 minute left. What can I leave you guys with? Let's see. I got one more in there. I got one more in the chamber. I know I do. Yes. Okay. I just want to say, Staten Island really gets a bad rap. You know, really as a conservative town. I think we've done really fairly well, to be honest, in the whole Black Lives Matter movement. A lot of peaceful protests, and considering Eric Garner was back here, you know, everything. So I'm very proud of that. You know, we actually voted blue recently. We've been getting more progressive. Voted blue for the first time in history. It was mainly all the heroin, but to me, it still counts. You know. And yeah, there's progressive changes now in Staten Island. For example, you could choose the gender of your baby on the birth certificate now. Did you guys know that? Yeah, there's three options for the gender of your baby when your baby's born. And the three options in Staten Island are cop, firefighter, or sanitation worker. Those are three genders that you can choose. If you think your baby's gay, we let you write in Coast Guard. That's as far as we let it go. All right, guys. That's been my time. I've been Farooq Hussain. Thank you so much for having me. I got to go to this other one. Let me put my coat on and get out of here. But thank you so much, guys.
Yay.
You don't say that you're gonna leave.
I just want to let you know that for the first 2.5 months of quarantine, I did live with my parents and my grandmother and my sister and her friend and my boyfriend and 4 dogs. I get it. I was there, man. I'm happily alone at home.
Lucky you. I wish I was in your shoes.
I've never felt freer. Oh, you guys, I'm still laughing. Also, I really want to see all of these cats now that we've talked about them in the chat. I got no cat jokes, just want to see the cats. And you guys, yes, we actually, the Tiny Cupboard runs off of donations, so we really appreciate any donation. Matt and Amy have kept this thing running the entire time in quarantine, going completely online, so it's really awesome. It is a small business. It really is. So all donations are greatly appreciated. And we have our next comedian up, who likes to spend her time. I think you can tell by her name, because I've never actually met a person with 3 names in person, that she really just loves self-care and reading menus. Give it up for Anne.
Oh, that cracks me up. You guys checking out my tiny microphone. So yeah, my name's Anne Van Epps, and I'm a ginger, which means I don't have a soul. So this morning I went to the laundromat, and I just can't. It's not working. I went to the laundromat, and I had all my stuff. They set it on the scale, and then the guy plopped my laundry down on the floor, and somehow 3 pairs of my dirty underwear fell out onto the floor, and it was all twisted, and the guy with his bare hand just picked it up and put it back in the bag, and he was a young guy. And one of the pairs, it's a neon yellow pair. I hand cleaned it 3 times to get off the dry blood. So, catastrophe averted, I'll say. So yeah, you guys, since the pandemic started, I've been in a throuple marriage with my sister and my cat.
She's in the bathroom.
What was that? I'll just tell it again. I've been in a throuple marriage with my sister and my cat, and I was holding my cat like a baby the other day, and she was right by my breast, and I was like, should I just go for it? So you guys, around this time last year, I was working for a Pilates studio, and my boss is really thin and tan and blonde, and she was a real go-getter and very competitive, and she was like, Anne, are you anorexic? And then she offered me hot tea, which is not a food. And then she offered me cauliflower chips, which are like empty calories. And then for lunch, she created her own lunch, which was peanut butter and yogurt mixed together. And she was like, "Anne, you want some of my lunch?" And I was like, "You have an old lady smell." Like, she looks pretty youthful, but she looks like my mom's neighbor, Connie, who smells like an old lady because she is an old lady. And if you're wondering what that smell is like, it's like cracked rubber bands, dirty pennies, tiny Tootsie Rolls with the wrapper stuck on them. You can't open them. It's like everything Connie gives out on Halloween, and you're just so angry. But you know, old lady smell is actually a real condition caused by the breakdown of proteins in the body. It happens from, you know, poor diet over time. So who's anorexic now? Huh? Yeah. So you guys, when the pandemic hit, you know, I had $21 in my bank account, and I had a part-time job that I hated that I got fired from. And so I took this small gig that somehow snowballed into a side hustle that transformed into a small business. And I was like so proud of myself. I told my mom, and her reaction was, no, so all of a sudden, the next day, I had an interview for me, and it was at a church. My mom had put it together, and it was a way for me to explore my passions as a social media strategist. I was super pumped about it. The only caveat was that in my interview, I had to really stress that in my childhood, I grew up with a Catholic mother and an Episcopalian father. So I actually wrote a song about it, about being Catholic. You guys want to hear it or? Okay. Yeah, let me just, what's it called? Prepare my vocals. I'll just do that really quick. Oh, oh, okay, I'm good. Okay, here we go. There is the Lamb of God. I'm gonna drink its blood. Here is Jesus Christ. I'm gonna eat his body. Yum, 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 yum. So yeah, I actually grew up in Ohio. Not the cornfield part, but the big city part. And my mom heard this song and she was like, "Man, you should add something in there about how it's a miracle." Yeah, I really wanted to stand out from my competition at the interview, so I sang my song. And I didn't get the job. And I think it's because, like, as if, whatever, like, totally, I'm not like a Christian influencer or whatever. So that's probably why. But yeah, that's all I prepared. If you guys like what you heard, you can follow me on Instagram at Annie in the City 2020. And you're in for a treat because I hardly ever post. So
Yeah. What's your side hustle?
what?
Your side hustle turned business. You didn't say what it was.
It's none of your business, Matt. How about that?
We'll talk
Guys,
later.
give it up for him. now all we're all gonna think about for the rest of the night is what the hell is your side hustle?
I really want to know.
I really want to know too. I feel like I'm being teased.
I'll private message you for a special moment or whatever.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. DM, slipping with the DMs. Okay. All right. You guys, this next comedian is one of our comedians show right after this with us, Rude Zimbar. You can see him there, but check him out here first. Everyone, give it up for Mike Bramente.
Yeah.
All right. Good to be with you guys. Give it up for Anne for performing for us on her toilet.
Everything on the floor of my bathroom.
It's all right, Anne. I appreciated it. Me and Anne are good friends. It's all right.
Yeah.
Listen, it's high anxiety times right now. It's a lot going on. I was talking to my therapist about it. She was like, Mike, just think about anxiety like this. It's either worrying about the past or worrying about the future. Just be in the moment. It's a nice message. But I'll tell you what, guys, I am in the moment and I'm pretty worried about it. Got a lot of anxiety right now. As a matter of fact. The reason I go to therapy is I have OCD. So actually, like this pandemic lifestyle, it's not that different for me. I've been living my whole life like I'm surrounded by viruses 24/7. I'm never actually done washing my hands. I just take breaks in between. Everybody knows life is just what happens in between hand washing sessions. And don't worry, every single time I wash my hands, I make sure to sing happy birthday. Social distancing, that's the big word being used. Important to stay 6 feet apart, right? That's what that means. Important to stay 6 feet apart. And by that, I also mean 5 feet 11 inches. Because it's the same thing. All right, we're just talking semantics here. Everybody knows that 5'11" is the same thing as 6 feet. Like if you want to know how far away to be, you take me on a date. Okay, you take me wearing 3 pairs of socks, maybe some lifts. I've been vegan for about 3 years. So offending most of you in the audience. Listen, I could give you a lot of reasons why I became a vegan. And then I could just tell you what her name is. No, I'm vegan for the moral reasons, all right? Because she changed my morals. When you're vegan, the only question you get is, where do you get your protein from? Mike, where do you get your protein from? That's all I ask me. They don't even ask me how my day was. Hey, Mike, how you doing? How's the family? All right, none of that. My dad, he makes fun of me for being vegan. He's like, you're a granola guy. That's supposed to make me upset that he refers to me as a delicious snack. I don't think so. Make fun of me for things that are actually true, you know, like the fact that I won't eat a burger unless it's Impossible or Beyond. Got to be a burger above the concept of reality for me to. Listen, guys, all right, I do it for the animals, all right? Cows, they got best friends. Pigs, they love belly rubs. And I consume vegan propaganda. What else is going on here? I am spending some time with my parents during quarantine. My parents, they like having me around, all right? They like having me around. I think they wish I was a stay-at-home son. Your parents love you so much they hope you're a failure? Like they would be ecstatic if I was a blogger living in their basement. I do live in the city though. I'm in negotiations right now with my landlord on extending my lease, and he said I could sign another year and I can get a free month. First rule of negotiation, all right? You never accept the first offer, all right? So I said, listen, I'll sign for another year, but I'm not taking the free month. You keep that, all right? I'm not gonna fall for that. I don't want to be more indebted to you than I already am. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pay an increase because I've done some independent research on my end. In my apartment, it's undervalued. Right? And I got a feeling that you're holding this against me. You know, I've seen the holiday cards that I get from you every year. You know, the terse wording in the holiday cards just says happy holidays. It doesn't even address me by name. I think all the residents of the building get the same card. You know, and I just can't help but think that this landlord-tenant relationship is just getting in the way of our I love a good romantic comedy. I've been watching a lot during quarantine. My friend, he recommended that I watch Annie Hall, right? Old school rom-com, Woody Allen. Spoiler alert, they don't end up together. That's not a rom-com, that's a waste of my time. As far as I'm concerned, you might as well have recommended The Blair Witch Project. Just as terrifying. Listen, guys, I know a thing or two about films, all right? I'm a paid screenwriter, and I have been ever since I got my stimulus check. I don't want to brag about this. I don't want to brag. But I was mentored directly by Judd Apatow when I bought his online masterclass. During my time with Judd, I wrote a few screenplays on spec. Okay, not. If you're in the biz like I am, you know, on spec means nobody asked you to write them. Okay, what are we doing here? Listen, you know, I'm an emotional guy. Whatever. Okay. Not a fan of Friends with Benefits. Not a fan of Friends with Benefits. Pretty good film though, Friends with Benefits. I recommend that one. But I'm not a fan of it because doesn't work. Someone's always gonna get hurt. Someone's always gonna get emotional, and that person's gonna be me. I would be a fan of Friends with Benefits under one condition. Okay, those benefits exclusive to me and her. Either of us could share that with anyone else. How am I doing on time? Good.
You were at a minute.
I am out of time. I ran over time. I apologize.
No, no one is upset about it.
Thank you very much. It was great to be here.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got a good compliment in the chat.
Yes.
Hotter than Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson, which I think is an insult, if you're gonna be honest. I've never been to a show or a mic that Mike is on and he hasn't been sexually harassed, not once. Sometimes it almost happened. I got on stage and harassed him.
She had to make it right.
You guys, I feel like this is a great time to keep rolling into our next comedian, who is also in the show directly after this by the time you cover. The show that you're in. Feel free to donate if you mind. You guys, I felt like leaning into my mic because I feel like I'm on a radio right now. Too much. Everyone give it up. And again, these two comedians are in the Rude Zoom Bar show right after this. It is a lot of fun. And they kind of do that, what they were doing just now. Give a big round of applause for Mae Planert.
Yay!
Mike was talking about being a vegan, and I actually subscribed to PETA for the material. And they actually texted me, and they were like, the world is crazy. Please join us in Students Against Speciesism. And I'm like, PETA, like, we have bigger fish to fry right now. Like, it's really poor timing. Okay. Those are your people, Mike. I'm just kidding. I'm just not a vegan because I have no willpower. I agree with it. I'm trying to say. I think that, yeah, fish to fry. That's true. Somebody just said fish to fry, which is not vegan. Let's see. I think that catcalling is something bad, which is good. I think it's like the world is healing a little bit. Like, I walked out the other day on the street, and there was a guy panhandling, and he had a sign out that said, "Please help me, I'm blind." And it was super sad, you know. And then I walked by, and he said, "Hey, where are you going with that ass?" I don't think that he was blind. Either that or like cured blindness. Okay. I should just be walking around the hospitals, you know, doing the Lord's work. You know, everybody's so divided right now. I think that one thing we can come together on is that Reno 911 is now the most controversial comedy in history.
Yep.
Reno 911. It's funny to me, like, I watched that episode the other day, and like the whole premise is like these idiot cops that shouldn't be on the force, and then now we're like, oh my god, there's idiot cops that shouldn't be on the force. It's controversial stance, but I have always agreed with job discrimination. Like, let's be honest, guys, there are certain people that shouldn't have certain jobs, right? Like a racist cop, we can all agree. A sexy nanny, me at my job, or as a comedian, apparently. Here's the thing, like, I'm a feminist. I consider myself a feminist, but if I were in a burning building and they sent up some girl that looked like me to save me, I would be like, what do you have to prove? We are both gonna die in here because you had to have some stance. Hi, babe. How's everybody doing? Everyone's muted? Good. That's how I'm going. You know, I feel like cops are probably really bummed out that that whole fetish over men in uniform, that's over. But even when that was happening, I never really agreed with it. Like, I remember being young in like high school or whatever, and I was like, Mom, why do guys like men in uniform? And she was like, well, you know, they're brave and all of these things, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but a guy in a police officer uniform, doesn't that just mean that he's poor? Like, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, like, the facts are the facts. Okay, he's poor, you know. And then I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I guess I could see it. Like, you know, they're rough, they're dirt, poor. I don't know. I just can't. And here's the thing. I used to tell that joke all the time, and people would get so angry at me, which looks like some of you are. And I used to think, I was like, wait until I tell them what else cops are. Oy vey. You know, Me Too is over. I think we can all agree Me Too is over. We had our time, ladies, and it's done. Nobody cares anymore, which is a bummer. I liked the spotlight for a minute, you know, because I am a victim of sexual assault, which is not just a humble brag that I went to college. You know, and when that whole thing was coming out, like, I had one friend that didn't have a story. Out of everybody I knew, one friend, which was so heartbreaking, so sad that she doesn't have an education. Oh, poor thing, you know. And I always just think it was funny how we all have to agree, like mutually agree as society on what's offensive and what's not. One time I was in the subway and this guy was masturbating, and I was like, you know, whatever, it's New York. yada yada. So I get to my friend's house and I tell her about it, and she was like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'll survive." It was a little jarring, but I'll live with it. And I think it's just funny how like I have a lot of empathy for women that would have taken that differently and would have like it would have ruined their entire day. I have endless empathy for that. I just want society to have empathy for what I find offensive, which is men wearing flip-flops. That is indecent exposure. Okay. My boyfriend, he is a gentleman. That's why when we go to the beach, he's wearing an UGG. It's a nice thing to do, people. Nobody wants to see a thong sandal in between men's toes. It's insane. I think we can get behind that. You guys watch Forensic Files? You know that show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know that show. I love Forensic Files. I'm a big fan. I was rewatching some episodes of Forensic Files back in like the early 90s or whenever it came out. And one opens up with a 911 call, and it's from their neighbor, and it dead ass. This guy goes, yes, I thought that my neighbors were making love, so I peeped over their fence to watch them, and it turned out that the guy was stabbing his wife.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only time in history that a man's sexuality might have saved a woman. It's just an idea. Here's the thing also, I've been watching the show I Survived. I'm big into true crime. And the show it's about, people that get into these terrible situations and they get out of it and they tell their story about how they survived. And I've noticed it starts one of two ways. If a man is telling the story, it will be like, I really wanted to go sailing. We had planned on going sailing. The Weather Channel told me not to go sailing. It was Hurricane Katrina, and we still went sailing. And then they find their way back to shore. The women's stories always start with, I was driving home from work and opened the door to my husband. And there was one episode where I was like, oh, maybe this is going a different way, where she was like, oh, I was off the coast of Costa Rica. We were scuba diving. I was like, oh, what's this? And she was like, with my husband. The husband did it, you guys. They always did it. What else do I want to say to you guys? And everybody still going to therapy during these times? Yeah, it's important. I used to, actually, my therapist is helping me now, but she used to be kind of, I don't think she was doing much for me after a while. Like, for instance, I went in one day and I was like, Bev, what's her name, Bev? I was like, Bev, I'm so tired, so anxious all the time. And she was like, quit drinking. And I was like, is there anything that I can possibly do? And she was like, quit drinking. And I was like, if you're not going to help me, Bev, I mean, my hands are tied here. I guess I'll see you next week. I think I'm over my time, yeah?
You are right about at your time. I just texted you 1 minute.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, you guys have done a lot of fun. Enjoy your nights. And if you want, Mike and I are going to be at the Zoom show after this.
Woo, everyone give it up. Yes, and all the comedians did clap at going to therapy. There's a theme.
Yeah, no, literally.
You guys, I highly encourage everyone who doesn't have plans after this show to definitely stop by Rude Zoom Bar. It's Mike and Mae and a couple other really, really funny comedians, and you get to do this, but be more involved, and alcohol is there, so get started. And you guys, again, the Tiny Cupboard is a really small space in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Haven't been able to put up shows since quarantine, so we're all here. So any donations to the Tiny Cupboard is really greatly appreciated, and we'll put our link in the chat. We're also putting, I'm trying to put the comics, at least their Instagrams, in the chat, so you guys can check them out. If you really liked comics tonight, go check them out, follow them. As you can see, Farooq had to leave us our first comic because he had a second show, and two of our other comics have two other shows, so there's a lot going on. And with that being said, let's give it up for our last comedian of the night, Linette Pallidino.
Yay!
I am very excited to be here. I don't like Zoom still eludes me. So the top 3 rows of my 5 rows is faces, and then the bottom 2 are not faces. They're just names. Does it look like that for anybody else?
Yeah, us too.
Oh, like, that's fascinating that worked out that way. I'm like, this is like the worst game of bingo ever. Like, I don't want to get Diana Greenhut right now. Like, and personally in my head, I'm like, fuck Barbara Lynn, fuck Diana, David, Tori, Wesley, Maybelline. Which I'm like, is that really what your parents named you? Is that like they were just like, we're really into that brand? Like, that's, I mean, because we're worth it. I mean, I'm not even sure I'm getting slogans right there, but that's fantastic. That's literally how you were born, and your parents were just like, fuck it. No, this is so much fun. It's the next best thing to being in person with you guys. I'll take it over anything else as a comic. It's great meeting all of you virtually. I like John and Rachel. Like, how long have you guys been together?
It's been 7 years.
Are you guys
Lucky
dating,
7.
married, or what?
Well, I guess you would call that a common law marriage after 7 years.
Yeah, that's how I like it. That's I like it. You guys are fucking. That's what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys are just fucking. That's cool. And were you guys like with other people before you met each other, or?
Well, I wasn't.
I didn't think you were virgins.
but I
I'm
wasn't
saying,
born
like,
yesterday.
More or less.
nice. That's very cool. How'd you guys meet?
Online.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Tinder. You guys swipe right.
No, that was before. This is before
Yeah, this
Tinder was
before.
invented. It was.
I think it's pretty old. I don't know how old.
Okay, Cupid.
Okay, Cupid. All right. That's
Mhm.
like, that's cool. I like it.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it worked.
You're up for anything. That's one of the free ones. So you guys are cheap and in love. I like it.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's for free.
Love is free, baby.
Right, uh-huh.
We got other
Those
couples
things in
here. We
life
got
are free.
Katie and Colin.
Mhm.
How long have you guys been together?
A long time. 13 years.
Oh, sorry, John and Rachel. You can't be that shit. 13 years. Are you guys married, or?
Yeah, we've been married for 13 years.
Oh, you've been married for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
How long you guys been fucking?
Like 15 or 16 years, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're not Christians. Mm.
No. We were
And-
very young.
Amy and Matt, I assume you guys are a couple.
Yeah.
You guys bump the uglies.
Do we what?
Do you bump the uglies? Is that not a comment?
Bump the uglies.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that means.
Joan and Rachel, can you explain it?
We call it doing the monkey.
God, never mind. How long have you guys been together?
How long has it been? I don't know.
A year and a half.
A year and a half.
Whoa, the babies. That's not even like long enough to be real. Wow, you guys are still like in that honeymoon shit. Like, you're probably still happy to be quarantined together.
Not bad.
I'm quarantined with my husband and my 2-year-old, and that's a hard pass. I'll be honest. When you're quarantined with that group of people, it makes sense why 100 years ago people used to have 9 kids, because you just can't wake up every day and stare at the same 2 fucking faces. You need more faces in your life. Also, it's really hard to talk shit about people in a family of 3. My daughter is not loyal to me. Like, that shit will get back to my husband. That's been my biggest revelation in becoming a mom. Feminism is not real. It's just not. It's not natural. It's not innate. That is a constructed thing from your mind. And here's how I know why. I cooked this bitch. I let her fuck up all my shit down there. And I fed her. I fed her for 19 months with my tits. And you know who her favorite person is? It's not me. The guy with the dick. Like, I didn't see him take out his dick and try to feed you. Where is your loyalty, bitch? It is not with her fellow females. I 100% don't believe feminism is a real thing anymore after having her. I've spent this quarantine reflecting a lot on my relationship. I've been with my husband. We've been together for 8 years, married for almost 5. But I've known him since I was 15 years old. Aww. He was my dad's boss. Whoa. That's different. It's a true story though. That's real. That's real about us. But here's the thing, like 3 weeks into quarantine, he used my mug. And I didn't know if we were gonna make it. We've got dozens of mugs in the house. You know why? Because I'm one of those losers that collects those like Starbucks here's where you are right now mugs, like from every city I've ever been to. But he used the one fucking mug that I use every day. You could fuck my best friend and I would forgive you. Don't use my mug. Is there nothing sacred? I don't understand what is going through your mind. It's brutal. I've spent some of this quarantine, like, you know, you have a little bit more free time than you used to. I do work a lot during this, which is really unpleasant, but you have a little bit more free time, right? So I was a religious studies major in college. Anybody else? Yeah, that's usually a strong no. I spent $90,000 to study religion at Fordham. Yeah, it was totally a waste. I mean, I'm a better person for it, but that doesn't count for anything. I was like, all right, so I've got some free time. I'm gonna go back to my roots and study some shit I used to study in college. And I started with the Bible, and I specifically started with Exodus. That's the story of Moses, you know, like the 10 Commandments every year around Easter. This story is bananas. Within the first minute of reading it, like the Israelites, the Jews, that's code for Jews, they're crying out to God, like, can you please save us from this slavery? And God's like, oh shit, that's right, the covenant. I forgot all about that promise I made to you guys. Like, my bad. Sorry, Jews. So he's like, all right, let me get Mo involved. So he gets Moses to be his megaphone, basically. And Moses doesn't want the job. He's like, hey, I got a speech impediment. I'm not good with words. Like, did God just fucking choose Rocky to be his megaphone? What is happening right now? Moses asked God like 5,000 questions, and finally God's like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just get your brother Aaron to say the stuff, but you'll be the face. So like in my head, I'm like, Aaron's got like a lazy eye, but Moses is really hot but can't talk for shit. Like this is the story that I've envisioned from Exodus at this point. Like when I was in high school, I read it like with a really thoughtful heart. But now that I'm a comic, I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, does Moses have a lisp? What is happening right now? And when you think about it in the larger context of things, like Jews have been reading this story for 5,000 years. Of course, they're the best fucking comics in the world. This is literally all they've ever read. They're reading pure comedy from God. It doesn't get better. I have been Linette Pallidino. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I would love to do the show that happens at 9 o'clock next Thursday. Hey.
Woo! Everyone give it up for Linette and give it up for all of our comics tonight. You guys, Zoom comedy
Yay.
is not normal comedy. This is harder to do. Woo!
See ya.
And again, thank you so much to everyone who comes to these shows. If this was your first week, awesome. Please come back next week. And for our regular people, it's really good to see you. You guys are always great audiences and so happy to have you. And yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep up the
Thank
good work.
you.
Awesome job, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
It's so nice to see faces from all over the place that I've never met, but I feel like I've seen you more than my friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way more than my
Way,
friends.
Like
way
Katie
We've
and
been on a
Colin,
few of
we're
these.
family now. I don't know at this point.
And we're from the Midwest.
I love it.
We're far away.
That's so nice.
We're in LA.
LA. Where's everyone else from? Where's everyone at tonight?
Astoria.
Oh, hey. Okay, Brooklyn. Hey.
Portland, Oregon.
Long Island.
Raven, hello.
Mhm.
Okay.
LA.
Okay. That's nice. Is the sun still up right now?
Yeah,
Yep.
still sunny outside.
I had to look outside because I've been working all day. So
Oh, I get that. Oh my gosh. I get that. I feel like actually this is I've really been enjoying New York's weather. We were having like spring weather.
Yeah.
It's been gorgeous. I'm knock on wood. I'm sorry if I jinx this all, but this has been really nice.
Hey, you guys want to get your stuff together? Our show's over.
Thank you guys. See you soon.
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes, and you guys, 9:30 Rude Zoom Bar. Check it out. I think we have links to the Tiny Cupboard event in our chat if you want to